Coming up, General Secretary of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, Ghana, Clocksaga Isaac Bampuado, is urging government to adhere to Article 197 of the constitutional instruments regarding recruitment in the public service in the wake of the dismissal of CEOs and heads of public institutions. We will tell you more. And also coming up, Member of Parliament for Walewale, Dr. Tia Abdul Mahama, on the minority side, criticizes President John Mahama for portraying a bleak economic picture to Ghanaians. He has denied struggling of the previous government. And also coming up in the bulletin, we'll tell you about how rainstorm has wreaked havoc for residents of Liati Wote in the Afajatu South District in the Volta region. The details of these and many more coming up this afternoon. Again, many thanks for joining us. Now, beginning the bulletin, Member of Parliament for Walewale, Dr. Tia Abdul Kabiru Mahama, has criticized President John Mahama for portraying a bleak economic picture to Ghanaians, suggesting that the previous government left a struggling economy. However, Kwesi Pratt Jr., the editor of the Insight newspaper, disagrees, stating that it's ridiculous for members of the previous government to claim they left a thriving economy. He argues that the economy inherited by the current administration is underwhelming.
We have the feeling that the president sometimes skews the analysis to paint the picture he also wants to present to the good people of Ghana. But one would expect that such an analysis would be all-encompassing, would be broad enough to cover every essential thing, would be objective enough to acknowledge the good and the bad, would be candid enough to carry the good people of Ghana along, and would be reassuring enough to put trust in the investor community. This is a balance, world balance, a track of balance, especially on the back of COVID and the height of the problem.
We are talking about exchange rate stability today. Shocking. Why? You took over at a time when the dollar rate was 3.4 to 1. 3.4 cedis to $1. Today the rate is 16 cedis to $1. And you're telling us about exchange rate stability. As if words don't mean anything. Exchange rate stability from 3.4 to $1 to 16 to $1. And we are talking about exchange rate stability. It's just completely baffling. Look, we've come to the point where, according to Mr. Ken Oforiatta before he exited office, we needed 128% of total national revenue for 3 line items: debt servicing, debt repayment, and public sector emoluments. That's a bankrupt state. So where is the resurgence in the economy? This is the state of the economy, and this state of the economy can only be referred to as bankrupt.
Away from that, the General Secretary of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, Ghana, Isaac Bampuado, has called for the suspension of proposed constitutional reforms, emphasizing concerns over the frequent turnover of leadership within public offices, citing the dismissal of CEOs and heads of public institutions every 4 years. He argued that this instability hampers long-term growth and creates a damaging effect on institutional memory. He urged the government to adhere to Article 197 of the constitutional instruments regarding recruitment in the public service, stressing the need for continuity and stability in leadership.
What the president was talking about was good governance. And in all our deliberations, there's one institution that we seem to forget. That is the Controller and Accountant General. The Controller Accountant General is the controller of all our funds. But it's like the Controller is not in control. There are certain earmark funds that have been created, and all these are not under the control of the Controller and Accountant General. Once we ensure that all funds are under the Controller and Accountant General, that will be a step in the right direction when it comes to good governance.
But has it always been like that? Like you said, the Controller General is not in control.
Yeah, we see From time immemorial, colonial times, First Republic, the Controlling Accountant General was in charge of all funds of the government. The Controlling Accountant General is the government accountant. But later, currently, we have various funds that have been created that are not under the control of the Controlling Accountant General. We're talking of good governance, let the Controlling Accountant General be in charge. See, it's all about the public services. And there's one key thing that after 32 years of this constitution has not been done is the constitutional instrument that guides the performance of the Public Services Commission. And that must be implemented when talking about that's at 197 of the Constitution calls for a constitutional instrument that guides the tenure of offices, the conditions of service, all public servants. This must be put in place because you cannot have a situation that's not what the framers of our Constitution were thinking. That's not the spirit behind the Constitution, where public services directed CEOs go with the government. No. That's why I have the Public Services Commission that gives all the conditions and services of these stewards. But it's like every term of a government, then all the CEOs of the public services are gone. What institutional memory are we creating? So it's like every 4 years we start again. But that is not what is behind the spirit of the Constitution. Let's implement Article 197 of the Constitution that talks of our constitutional instruments when it comes to recruitment into the public services. And this will help us.
Away from that, the government spokesperson Shamima Muslim has dismissed claims that the Hajj Village project announced by President Mahama is solely a government initiative, emphasizing that it will benefit all Ghanaians and create employment opportunities. Now, speaking at the National Economic Dialogue in Accra, she called on citizens to put aside religious divisions and unite to achieve shared national goals.
I think there's a lot of miscommunication regarding the Hajj Village, which is actually a terminal to be constructed and operated by the Ghana Airport Company Limited, just as they have done with other, resources that they have and some assets that they have. It is ultimately to bring about more efficiency in the management of their operations. One of their major operations in a specific time period is the Hajj pilgrimage. The Hajj pilgrimage is, even though a religious obligation for Muslims, but it is a government-to-government arrangement. Right. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will not deal with any individual Hajj agent. They deal only with government. So to the extent that that would continue to exist, and governments will continue to play a facilitating role. That is why governments across the world always have their Hajj boards and their Hajj commissions, because the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia needs to deal with pilgrims on country-by-country basis. The allocation of accommodation, of transport, of all the services is done country-by-country basis. So when you go to Mecca during that period, every pilgrim has a band indicating which country they are coming from. Quotas are given at country level, so you can't go and get a quota outside of the, of that level. So government has to always play a facilitating role. The management of the process has been problematic over the years, which is what actually led to the Hajj Village concept. They moved from El Wak Stadium to their current, space around the Polo Grounds area with tents, which are not permanent structures, So every year you have to incur new costs at rehabilitating those structures to be able to hold the travelers, process them, and move them straight in buses onto the chartered aircraft. This is the process. I don't love to speak about these, church and mosque matters, but there is quite a distinctive difference between the cathedral project as a church project and this Hajj holding effectively a terminal. It is not a mosque, It is not owned by Muslims. It is not a property given to Muslims. And if you look at the blueprint, and I think the media should help, access the blueprint, inform your viewers as to what projects are on that span of land.
The news here on Good Afternoon Ghana. Now let's talk education now. The headmaster of the Huni Valley Senior High School in the Pristia Huni Valley Municipality, Daniel Kwabena Edu, has appealed to the government to help complete the abandoned female dormitory, which is 90% complete. According to him, the school's female student population continues to rise significantly, and the completion of the facility will help ease their burden.
Out of the total students population of 1,662 at the Huni Valley Senior High School in the Pristia Huni Valley Municipality of the Western Region, more than 1,000 are female, putting immense pressure on the existing dormitory facilities, which are inadequate to accommodate all of them. The headmaster, Daniel Kwabena Edu, revealed that the uncompleted female dormitory was initiated under former President John Evans Atta-Mills's administration, but has since been abandoned. He emphasized that completing the facility would provide a safe and comfortable environment for the female students, enhancing their learning experience. Edu made this appeal during the school's launch of its 50th anniversary celebration. He urged stakeholders, including the government and all students, to support the school in ensuring the project is completed to improve the living conditions of the students.
This school, which was started in November 1975, with an initial student population of 90, now has 1,662 students and still counting, with 120 staff members. This year, exactly on the 25th of November, we will be 50 years, our golden jubilee.
Chairman of the Anniversary Planning Committee and old student of the Huni Valley SHS, Nana Dr. Tony Obin, in an interview expressed disappointment in how the school lands are being encroached upon.
The original plan, which I saw when I was a student, had a swimming pool. It was going to be almost like an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So you could see that people could go out of this place having learned how to swim. This dream, I don't know whether it will ever come up. It will not come. But there was also a dream to have a nursing training college, possibly a nursing university or something, nursing college, but attached to this school.
Jasehni of Huni Valley area, Nana Kwesi Asa warned encroachers to stay away from the school and promised to protect the lands.
Basha number one for them say, Begin and member Kosha, Banking Member, German and Kakano Wakano, Headmaster, Yama, Watcho, Wame whom Katin, you are, I said, and after the sign I will go to Valesanka. Nembo science, I Yanni Benny, a Benny assassination, Alphabet, and you say, Benjamin. First class, I said, that's a maybe or than a benefit, Yabama, man, and a homocazin.
Now, from the Western region, we head to Parliament, and the minority in the House is seeking to prevent the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Johnson Esiama, from briefing the legislation on the cost of the new headquarters. Now, the Governor, during the business statements for this week by the majority leader, was billed to appear before the House today. However, the minority leader, Alexander Afenyomak, I beg your pardon, is fiercely insistent that the Governor should make the statement via press conference. The situation has compelled the First Deputy Speaker, Bernard Anyafa, to suspend sitting to allow for leaders to discuss the matter backdoor. My colleague Jeffrey Atipo is in Parliament and joins us for more on this development. Jeffrey, what can you tell us this afternoon with respect to the Bank of Ghana Governor's statement before the House?
Thank you very much, Desmond. So as I speak with you now, the governor is currently making the statements as I speak with you now. A while ago, the issue became fiercely, I mean, there was a fierce argument between both the minority and the majority leader over the governor's appearance on the floor of the House. Now, last week, Friday, the majority leader during the business statement indicated that the Bank of Ghana governor would be in the House today to brief the House on this matter. But the minority leader, Alexander Fenyo-Markin, is actually blocking him from making those statements, indicating that due process were not followed, which allows the Bank of Ghana governor to make such statement on the floor. So he is saying that the man is supposed to either go and do this via a press conference or put out a statement on its own, but not on the floor of Parliament. He indicated, Fenyo-Markin indicated that the House is a house of law and processes. So since the Bank of Ghana governor isn't also a member of Parliament, there's no need for him to come to be allowed to make such statement without even going through due process, which has to do with filing of questions, urgent questions on the floor. For him to come and answer, but not to come and make statement as the leadership of the majority is asking him to come and do. But the majority leader, Mahama Yariga, also counter the minority leader's statement, indicating that he doesn't even understand the due process that the minority leader is talking about, because there are procedures that have been followed, and there are procedures for asking urgent questions, and there are procedures for inviting a governor or a minister or any member of the public with the Parliament due to call to appear before the House. There are processes for all these things. So he doesn't even understand why the minority leader, Alexander Fenyo-Markin, is insisting, trying to block the Bank of Ghana governor. But as I speak with you now, after they went back door about between 5 and 10 minutes, they returned and also to have conversation. That's both the minority leader and the majority leader, together with the first deputy speaker, Bernard Ahiafo. They are back in the chamber. I can tell you, or I can confirm to you right now, that the Bank of Ghana governor is currently on the floor now making the statement, despite the argument made earlier, Desmond. So we have to head in there to get exactly what the court. Exactly so, Desmond. So as I speak with you now, the man is on the floor making the statements.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeffrey Malto Atipo. That's our parliamentary correspondent telling us about, the happenings in Parliament as the governor for the Bank of Ghana, Johnson Esiama, is in the House, and a little bit of issues there. But from both sides, the majority and the minority, they've been able to settle that, and he has already begun reading his statement, also giving some details about how much the new headquarters of the Bank of Ghana actually costs. We'll definitely stay on that and bring you more details subsequently. And we're going to take a break now. I'm Desmond Okreku. When we come back, my colleague Bright Amenin will take control of the rest of the program. Please stay with us.
Fire pomudi ni agobi Ghana fueni age efri say ya your local spices na ya frafra dia ya sankofa natural spice
me de go me jollof mu ni mi sti wa hodoma e ma ne dance
Stanley, the barbecue they go on
sankofa natural spices and one you use 100% natural.
Adofo, mamunye huge mistake. Sankofa natural spices. The year
FDIG ejedi nkratu yatu.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel-Kit Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
Daddy, That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush.
Makes your teeth stronger.
Chicky,
Whiter.
chicky,
Stronger.
Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel Kids. Happy smile.
Attention all farmers. Are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and IRECOP brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafua Jinkwa, and the IRECOP with cocoa blends, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and IRECOP organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by Cocoa Board, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Paying for your Showmax is easy. Just choose your preferred payment method from these easy and convenient options. MTN Momo, Visa or MasterCard, Showmax vouchers at DSTV or GoTV sales agents, or use a promo code. Enter your payment details and hit submit. Showmax, pay easy, stream easy.
A very good afternoon to you, and that was my colleague Desmond Okreku Danso here with a 30-minute news update here on the program. I am Bright, Nanakwesi, I'm in live from Studios here at Ridge in Accra, the Kuya Bohema studio, and this is Good Afternoon Ghana. Let's go straight to Parliament, where the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. John Esiama, is on the floor of the House answering questions from members of the House. We come back with more stories, including Agenda 111 issues surrounding it, and also some takeaway from the economic dialogue that happened here in Accra, where stakeholders are calling for privatization of ECJ. So don't go nowhere. When I come back, the conversation will continue on.
A total of $48.3 million has been paid in taxes and levies that were related to the construction. Mr. Speaker, beyond the core building, separate contracts were awarded for other infrastructure. These include ICT systems and network infrastructure, which was awarded at a cost of $8.6 million, integrated electronic security systems, which was also awarded at a cost of $15.8 million, and furniture and furnishings that was also awarded at $11.1 million. Mr. Speaker, these elements were included to ensure that the bank operates in a secure and technologically advanced environment in line with the needs of a modern central bank. Mr. Speaker, while the new headquarters project has understandably drawn public attention, Mr. Speaker, it is important to emphasize that the Bank of Ghana remains fully focused on its primary responsibilities, which is to maintain price stability, which is to ensure financial sector resilience, and which is to foster economic growth. These are the priorities that guide our actions. As an independent central bank, we recognize, Mr. Speaker, that public trust is fundamental to our operations, and that trust is built on transparency, sound decision-making, and a demonstrated commitment to prudent financial management. Mr. Speaker, we want to assure this Honorable House that the new board will exercise its oversight responsibilities efficiently, and the new board will ensure value for money in all our undertakings. Mr. Speaker, once again, I thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Governor for Bank of Ghana and your team. Honorable members, I intend to open the floor for some questions, clarifications. Honorable Ampim Nyako, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have heard the governor, and we are happy that he's been able to provide this information. I just want to find out why the contract was awarded in dollars and not in cedis. And then secondly, you said you acquired the land. Is the cost of the land part of the cost of construction that you've given us, or is that separate? And if it is separate, have you paid fully for the cost of the land? Thank you.
Several questions, and Alexander, okay, well, honorable member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I have a couple of questions for the governor. The first, I will reference him to paragraph 18 of the document he shared, which is talking about the cost per square meter of the building. According to the report, he's saying that the cost per square meter of this head office building is $2,068, which compares with international standard of $2,658. And so, from his own statement in paragraph 18, the value per square meter of the building is way below what it is compared to international standards. If the governor is aware, if you check with EcoBank Ghana, all the buildings that have been built here in this country in comparative terms, the cost per square meter is still even lower in the case of the Bank of Ghana than even the EcoBank building. And so this assertion, even with all the security complexities of the building that we see today, the issue of value for money that you're talking about, I think it is adequately addressed over here. The second question I want to refer him to. The second question I'm giving to you is that in terms of the approvals, the procurement approvals, is the governor telling this House that all the Bank of Ghana, did Bank of Ghana sidestep any approval process for this particular transaction? Because I know. Okay. So can the governor tell us if the Bank of Ghana got the necessary approvals for this particular transaction? Okay. My final question to the governor
is whether the governor, as we speak now, is in occupation of this particular building. Thank you.
Onyola.
Honorable Hotoja.
It's not coming. My decision is no way. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can the Bank of Ghana governor brief this House as to what the cost or what actually accounted for the repeated increase in the contract sum?
Honorable Yaframpong.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is just one question that I want to find out. In his introduction, the governor did mention value for money audits. I just want to find out if that exercise was really carried out. The value for money audit, if it was carried out. It was finally carried out before the Constitution. Yes, the back of that's. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Bondi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Two quick questions. I am aware that before a project like this would be costed, all the architectural drawings, all the consultancies and everything would have been done before an institution like Bank of Ghana would put up a cost. Unfortunately, from $81 million, we are hitting revived to about $216 million. The Bank of Ghana governor did not explain to us what exactly changed in the cost of the changing of the price. Can we know that? And number two, the Bank of Ghana should be able to educate us also the selection of the consultants that would have to pay over $3 million for this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll take one more from here and give the opportunity to the governor. Kennedy Osenyako.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the governor if there is a value for money audit report. If there is not, will you consider engaging Crown agent to conduct a value for money report and furnish the House so that we'll be able to know the exact cost or what accounted for the cost of the project? Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Governor, you have the floor. You can provide answers to all questions so far asked.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would defer to my colleagues, the members of the project team, to provide initial answers, and then I'll come in. But I'll just touch on the one question before I defer to them. This was a question on occupation of the building. Yes, my predecessor moved into his office before he left office. Why? Because this was allowed under the contract. Remember, the project is about 98% complete. It's almost done. And so my predecessor moved in, and therefore when I took over, I had no choice but also move into it whilst we continue all the other processes. Mr. Speaker, permit me to now defer to my colleagues, and then we will take the questions one by one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, why dollars? The contract was a turnkey project And then we wanted to lock in the value in terms of payment and evaluation, and also to prevent change of contract values if it was cedis. Cost of land. Cost of land is not part of the figures we have provided here. It was compulsorily acquired by Ghana government and then given to Bank of Ghana. Cost per square meter. Yes, if you use the 261, the total contract values per the various contracts that have been signed under the project, the cost per square meter now comes to 2,446, still lower than the West African construction estimate and also internationally accepted estimate. Procurement approvals. Mr. Speaker, procurement approvals were sought for all the processes. The first one was the PPA approval to use the restricted tendering for the selected contractors who were perceived to be suitable to build such an edifice. The PPA gave an estimate at that time when they gave the approval of $81.8 million. Mr. Speaker, after the evaluation and then selection of the contractor, the lowest responsive value for the contract with Goki Properties Limited was $121.0 million. So the Bank of Ghana went back to PPA to inform them about the new value, and on 31st August 2020, the PPA gave approval for the $121 million. Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker, after the evaluation, the ETC gave approval for Bank of Ghana to go to CTRC to seek a concurrent approval, and that was also granted. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, the occupation issue has been answered already. The repeated increase in the contract sum. After the signing of contract with Goki Properties, now the Bank of Ghana have to come in and sit with the contractor to look at the total proposal as submitted. And many of the issues that were considered was the fact that there are security issues of the total contract that couldn't be given to public. So these ones have to be discussed at the point of the contract. Also, the original plan was supposed to be 25 floors. Unfortunately, the spatial requirements require that it cannot be 25, but reduced to 20-floor facility. We also have to look at all the statutory approval requirements and also the functionality of the building in order to address all the requirements of Bank of Ghana. This finally resulted in, Mr. Speaker, a 4-structure facility made up of the tower block, 20 floors, urban block, 8 floors, amenity block, 6 floors, and the podium that houses 5 car park floors under the building, because it was noted that that area lacked car park, and then we will have to factor that into the building. And a modern energy farm system was also introduced into the facility in order to address power needs, since such a building will require continuous power supply without any issue of light off. A treatment plant for water was also introduced, and all these things were done in order to make the building EDGE certified. And Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that the project is EDGE certified, and then Edge team will also do a review very soon. Mr. Speaker, value for money, we relied on the various approvals to confirm the value for the contract. Currently, it has been decided that an independent consultancy firm will be employed to review the project cost to see, and Mr. Governor made mention of that. Mr. Speaker, no drawings was done because it was a turnkey project. So we did not do quantity cost or quantity analysis before the project. Selection of consultant. Mr. Speaker, we used a single source method of selection, and that one to approval was sought. In fact, this was done when we have to go through the professional institutions in Ghana that can supervise such projects. After going through all the professional consultancy firms that can do that, we identified Multicard, a Ghanaian consultancy firm, as a suitable consultancy firm that can manage the project for us as the employee rep of the project. Mr. Chair, currently what I know about Crown Agent is that it's defunct. However, as indicated earlier, Mr. Governor has decided that we can use a local company to do that job. So I'm sure when the board comes, these issues will be discussed and the appropriate action taken on that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. We'll then open the second round of questions. I give the floor to Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Anodon Pray.
Chairman, let me thank you for the opportunity. Chairman, I've taken time to listen to the presentation, and the governor's and his team, I think one of his team members responded to a question on value for money. And amongst other things, he says they came to certain conclusions based on the procedure that was adopted. And then he also says the AESL will be contracted to do some work. I don't know if I'm correct. Then you went ahead also to say an independent body will again be contracted. I'm struggling to get some meaning. Why will, the first place, is it not too late in the day that AESL will be engaged? And why would you still want to engage an independent body on same subject matter? Am I right to come to a conclusion that after all, there are no fishy deals in this project, and Ghana did not lose out on it? And once and for all, based on your presentation and the facts you put out, we should be putting away or let the controversy rest once and for all. Would I be right to come to this conclusion?
Honorable Adongo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. These were decisions that were taken by the previous board. I was not on that board. But even if I'm on the board, are you taking decisions here? You are not taking any decisions. So if you are taking decisions, I will abstain. Mr. Chairman, I wasn't a director when transactions were made. I'm speaking in that capacity. Mr. Chairman, paragraph 7.
Honorable Adongo, just hold it. I recognize the minority leader.
Chairman, respectfully, the honorable member who just rose and caught your eye has just been appointed as a director of the bank. He's gone through the process, nomination through Council of State, and finally he has become a director. Although he's yet to be sworn in, I humbly hold a view that he can pass on his concerns to some other member to ask. Because, Mr. Speaker, the governor said that the same board is going to pursue the matter. It is obvious that he is in conflict. He is in conflict in the sense that, first, Mr. Speaker, is in conflict in the sense that he is torn between two bona fides here. One as a director, and the second as a member of this legislature. Mr. Speaker, a matter has come before this House. And the matter that has come before this House, though you don't have a personal interest, you have an interest in your official capacity. That is, as part of your functions, the governor has indicated that you are going to undertake certain activities. I do not think that it would be appropriate in the circumstances to now proceed to be asking questions on the very matter that you are going to peruse in your capacity as a director of the bank. Mr. Speaker, I've just made my submission. It's for you to rule upon it.
Honourable members, guided by the decision of the Supreme Court in the case of Justice Abdullah versus Attorney General Adongo, you have the floor. Ask your question.
Thank you very much, thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, thank you very much for the protection. In 2020, I was not a board member, and these transactions were done from 2020. Even now, I only disclose my interest and not take a decision.
Please proceed to
That's all I do.
Proceed.
Anyway, Mr. Chairman, the board under paragraph 7 indicated that the original estimated contract sum, or the engineer's estimate, put the contract at $100 million. In their own wisdom, they revised this to $81 million before the tender. Then a tender is received which is 50% above the estimated figure given to us by our engineers. Our engineers, having compiled all the bill of quantities, think that it will cost us $80 million to build this facility. We are now looking for a contractor, and the contractor comes to tell us that he will construct it at a figure 50% above what our engineers are saying. And we went ahead and approved it. It didn't end there.
Now we are dealing with 261, and this was being done at the time of COVID-19. Ghanaians were being asked to pay COVID levy. And you then went and signed a contract which is 250% above your profits. My question is, was it that the Bank of Ghana was living without limitation? Whereas everybody was tightening their belts, Bank of Ghana had a lot of money to just be spending. But Chairman, can they tell us the second lowest or the lowest bidder per the evaluation report? There were other bidders. What were they saying? Were they also quoting 121 billion? Can they tell us what the other bidders were willing to construct the property for, and for which they were ignored and we went for 121 million? Can they tell us what the other bidders were telling us? And then two, as we speak today, it's been 5 years. We still don't have a value for money audit. We don't have a value for money. If they have it, they should submit it. We are now going to determine value for money for a project whose cost has been increased almost every now and then. So why is it that we didn't have value for money when it became clear to us? When it became clear to us that the original figure was being exceeded, we didn't do value for money. We kept doing that until now. Why was there no value for money up to this point? Then, Mr. Chairman, I want to find out. Is it also one of those projects like the National Cathedral where the figure was listen to me, where the figure was a moving target?
Honourable members, order.
Chairman,
Honourable members, let's listen to each other in silence.
The cost of that project was also a moving target. Was it a moving target? Was the project cost a moving target? Said that it could just be going up and up and up and up without an idea where it will end? Please, Chairman, I want to know whether this cost was a moving target. Because we are in this country when you people started a national cathedral and every day the figure was going up. Then you went to build the headquarters of Bank of Ghana. That figure too also started going up. Why? Are you only interested in moving targets? Please tell us, was it a moving target?
And those are live visuals from the House, Parliament, where the current governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Siama, has addressed the House of concerns and issues concerning the Bank of Ghana, and is taking questions from members of the House. We've heard from some honorables like Honorable Afonyo Makin, who is the minority leader, who was worried about a question that was being asked, that was supposed to be asked by Honorable Adongo due to his membership of the House and also as a member or director of the board of Bank of Ghana. But then the speaker in the House allowed him to speak, saying that he thanks him for protecting him. Quite interesting comment right there. But he is quite worried about the spending ability of the Bank of Ghana at a time where Ghana's economy was low and struggling. And so he's questioning the now Bank of Ghana Governor, Dr. Johnson Siama, of the report that was read in Parliament by him. Let's go on the phone and have a conversation with Julius Jima. He is a non-facing on Metro TV when it comes to economy and the country's fiscal status and all that. And he joins us on the phone for a conversation. Julius, thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon. First of all, a question that was being asked by Member of Parliament, Honorable Adongo, was pointing to the spending ability of the Bank of Ghana and how he believes at a time where Ghana was struggling, they were still spending money on contract and all that. First of all, what do you make of the Bank of Ghana's address to the House?
Well, good afternoon, Bright. Thank you so much for having me and then giving me the opportunity. I think that the invitation by Parliament to Bank of Ghana is just a parliamentary procedure or oversight approval, and then also to be able to get actual data on monies that were spent on the new Bank of Ghana head office or their head office project in Accra. I think that it's just about a check and a balance on, each other. The arms of government and Parliament is playing a key role in making sure that we can check ourselves, check public institutions, check state-owned enterprises, and then even the executive as well as the judiciary. So it's very beautiful for our democracy. But the point is that if we were following proceedings, the main discussion that was going on is about value for money, and then issues about morality at the time of what they spend. I am the kind of challenges that the economy is going through, and as a central bank, their main responsibility is to make sure that that's a very good, favorable monetary policy and then stabilizing the economy with regards to inflation and then a supply of money in the market. But I think that the budget of Bank of Ghana has always been that they will have to have a new office to be able to carry out their daily operations or their activities, and that will be befitting to the status of Bank of Ghana. So if management, at the time deem it fit to have, a new head office that will be able to occupy or accommodate all agencies of the Bank of Ghana, and then to be able to make it a financial hub for the country, it's okay. The issue here that definitely will have to drill you is about how you spend the monies, and then there were issues with contracts. There were issues with approval level, the procurement process, the tender method that they used, soliciting for contractors who come on board, those that have to bring a counter bid to, what the Bank of Ghana was prepared to spend, all the authorizations and approval levels that were sought. So I believe that that is the exercise that is going on in Parliament, and it is good because at the end of the day, it will be able to help us unravel whether or not Bank of Ghana did the right thing or not. And I think that for public interest and for public record, we need this exercise to be able to serve as a check and a balance on ourselves. You could recall that Honorable Adongo was saying that is it a case that Bank of Ghana don't have, any supervision, whereas they can be spending without any limit or without control. So I believe that all these things is just part of the whole learning process.
It looks like one of the major issues of the members of parliament is the spending of the Bank of Ghana. I mean, from what stories that have come out from the spending and all that, have they been reckless?
You see the way Bank of Ghana operates, right? They are independent, they are autonomous. That does not mean that they should not act of the country. But if you look at their activities, and because of how sensitive some of their operations are, when it comes to how they go about their spending, at times we just have to be careful so that we don't put so much information out there. It works like the national security, there are things they are very sensitive. Whatever they do there, the monies they keep there, they are spending and all that. The most important thing, I believe, why the parliamentarians are debating is that was there a value for money? And in value for money, we know what we are looking at: economy, effectiveness, and efficiency. So all that we are trying to say is that at the end of the day, regardless of whatever Bank of Ghana will do, they should make sure that it wouldn't be at the expense of the ordinary taxpayer, because it's our taxpayer that we use to fund them. Be able to make sure that whatever decisions that they will take in making sure that their operational activities will go on in trying to, give us a very good monetary policy, and then also control inflation for us, which is their key mandate. Whatever machinery, plant, office, what have you, that they will need to be able to execute this function very well for us. It is within their law to be able to do that. But the moral issue here is that, was there value for money? Is somebody checking them to do the right thing? Did they seek approval level from the presidency or from the Ministry of Finance or the Minister of Finance then? Because they are supervisory ministry. So I believe that what would, suffice for this debate will mean that at the end of the day, management at the time and now will be able to prove to Ghanaians that, yes, we did this project, this is what we did, but we made sure that there was value for money in the whole exercise. There was transparency, there was accountability. Of the director was saying that they seem to be able to procure most of the equipment and then to be able to put up this edifice. Sole sourcing is an aspect of procurement. It is in the Procurement Act. If you want to do sole sourcing, you have to go through, the right approvals and authorization from the Public Procurement Authority. Did you do that? Yes or no? If you did that, you explain. If you didn't, why didn't you use other, forms of procurement than to resort to sole sourcing? There are benefits of doing sole sourcing. There are disadvantages of doing sole sourcing. There are also benefits of doing open tender, and all boils down to price competitiveness. Right. At the end of the day, you have the price competing because you want to get the best from contractors or your suppliers so that it will inure to the benefit of the state or inure to the benefit of the Bank of. It is all about value for money exercise that is going on in Parliament. And I believe the Bank of Ghana will be able to justify all grounds that they use to be able to achieve this particular project. If not, then they will have some questions to answer.
Julius, I mean, one of the questions that came up most during when the conversation of a new edifice for the Bank of Ghana was whether it was the right time or was so much needed for a new edifice to be built.
Exactly.
Yes.
Personally, for me, if you look at the old Bank of Ghana office, this has been a building since colonial days. If you go to Accra, behind the sea, you can see even the biggest commercial bank, which is Ghana Commercial Bank, their office building is way better than the person that is supervising them. So I believe that as we are growing as a very robust financial hub, have a good economy, and then also, it's part of the personal branding of the bank, the public image.
Right.
If you look at our other, international banks in the country, we can see the kind of building that they are putting up to be able to attract customers. It's about confidence. For want to keep their money in a very bad place or a bad office, you go to your bank and then the establishment there, the building, everything is not acting right. Things are dilapidated. You wouldn't have that confidence to be able to keep your money there. So for me, comparing the old Bank of Ghana office to the current one, I think that it's just, and we would wish that most of our public institutions and then state-owned enterprises, if the need may be, and if they have the resource, and also carry out some of this renovation and then also putting up in new offices. It helps in the developmental project, it helps in infrastructure. They want to develop as a country. So anything to make sure that we have something tangible and pinpoint to that this is what we've been able to come far from what we inherited from our colonial masters, I believe is okay. But it does not mean that we should do it in a way that will cause, so to say, unquote, financial losses to the country or even to the institution. So these are things that we have to be mindful about. It's clear that at the time, Ghana was going through a lot. COVID is on the rise after COVID, Russia-Ukraine war. So everybody will have grounds to complain that people are dying. Our economy is going bad. There's supply in global, disruptions in global supply chain. The countries, we were losing most of our imports. We needed more dollars to be able to get, fuel and then bring it down here. Global economy was bad. Ghana's economy was hitting it. So immorally, people would disagree with any form of investment that you want to do or any form of investing activity a corporate entity would want to undergo, especially of a public nature like the Bank of Ghana. So that is why people are really, talking about the morality and then the conscience at the time. But we have to grow from that and make sure that we put ourselves together. Let us come together and get back to work and move this country forward.
Right, thank you. And Julius Jima is an economist. He joined us here for conversation on the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson, a CMR, who just briefed the House, and also receiving questions from some members of the House and all that. I mean, you saw some visuals right there when the Bank of Ghana, new Bank of Ghana edifice was launched. Former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, together with the outgone Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, together with the former Finance Minister, Dr. Amin Adams, and a host of government officials from the previous administration, all going there to make sure what there's access. But the question is, was there value for money, as is being asked by members of the House, and even attempted answer by Julius Juma, who touched on economy and efficiency. We'll go back on that later, the conversation unfolds, but let's focus a bit more on health. The big story and the big question is Agenda 111 effective? Now, we are hearing news that none of the stated or launched projects are operational. Now, one of the 3 Agenda 111 hospitals purported to have been completed is not even working. Take a look at this.
The Agenda 111 project, initiated by former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, aims to construct 111 hospitals across Ghana, including district, specialized and regional hospitals. While stakeholders in the health sector believe the project's vision is commendable, the current state of the hospitals, including the one located at Trede in the Ashanti region, highlights the need for careful planning and execution to ensure that these critical healthcare facilities are completed and fully functional. Speaking to journalists after touring the facilities in the Ashanti region on Monday, March 3, 2025, the Health Minister Kwabena Mintah Kando stressed the urgent need for government to secure the necessary funding to complete the Trede, Oforikrom and other Agenda 111 projects.
Patient, I are for Uncle Bia, Doctor Fonia, the other. But the OT and Intesa. Contractors of Pedro Moka. And that's a local need. You are the who no crown in Pancotuga. The only one need who ye and the Macatron. There will be a who no question. I also be a mine. No cre, a back of any meal. We better TV so no time videos, no bonus silly maca. And it's in the original head. Nagan and Ibia, a buying is a sense of money, Mahama buying it. You are catching and say, we should move Ghanaians along. The area to be a hobby, to be a hunu. Anything you can have.
The SWAL NPP administration has denied the lack of completion for all 111 facilities, claiming 3 are fully completed, including the Trede Hospital, which has been inspected by the Health Minister.
Now, the Ministry of Health has categorically refuted claims by former Minister of Finance Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam that 3 hospitals under Agenda 111 project was successfully completed, equipped and commissioned before the previous government left office. Now, Dr. Adam, at a press conference on Monday, said that 3 Agenda 111 hospitals had been completed and that a dedicated funding source of $1.3 billion had been secured to complete all remaining Agenda 111 hospitals across the country. The Health Ministry, in a statement dated Tuesday, March 4, 2025, urged the public to disregard these claims. And now joining me currently to speak about this is a member of the New Patriotic Party NPP National Communications Team, Dr. Ekwia Amwako, who is going to help us make sense of what exactly is happening. Doc, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana.
Good afternoon to you, Bright, and all your viewers.
Right. Now, so not even one of these hospitals is operational, according to what we are being told by the current administration and also the Ministry of Health. What exactly is the truth from your end?
Right. Honestly, I am confused and perplexed at the behavior of the Honorable Minister of Health. Let me just put that out first. Because all this back and forth and meandering and brouhaha over the Agenda 111 hospitals, to me, does not add anything to our developments as a nation. Last year, getting to the end of last year, on 5th December, the former president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, commissioned 3 out of the Agenda 111 hospitals. The one you've been talking about in Trede, one not too far away in Kokobing, the Oforikom one, and one in Ahanta West, Pegro. They are complete, they are not operational. Those are two different languages that are in health construction. Operationalizing a hospital just means bringing staff in, running the necessary tests, and getting it into a state that can treat patients. And I don't think anybody in the MPP came out to say that we've operationalized those hospitals. Besides Agenda 111, the MPP government constructed 21 of such district hospitals dotted across the country. A few in the Ashanti region were commissioned in November or October, if I'm not wrong. I'm not too sure of the dates. And Swame and Coast, those ones have been completed. Up till now, as I speak to you, they are still not operational. Obviously, the expectation cannot be that the opposition party should get the job done and operationalize these hospitals, right? Or is that the case? I would expect that the current minister would go about the job of operationalizing these hospitals, again, just as we did when we came into government, when the UGMC hospital was about the same level of completion as these Agenda 111 hospitals are. Just before I took the call to talk to you, I saw another press release from the Ministry of Health, which seems to me to be turning into a propaganda arm instead of taking over its mandate as in a very crucial, critical sector of our national development. Health is usually not a place where we see an over-politicization of matters. When we came into office, UGMC did not even have a power plan. Yet it was commissioned. That creates it brings to bear that there are two different processes. When you finish the building and it's handed over, then it falls onto the Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, to then appoint people to operationalize these hospitals. I saw in his press release that he said critical dental equipment is not there, ENT and a mortuary and whatnot. When we came into government and we operationalized UGMC, it was done in batches. First, we opened the OPD, and around that same time, COVID hit. So we saw it prudent to immediately operationalize the ICU. So when UGMC started, these were the only blocks that were operationalized. It took over a year for Dr. Darius Osei, the first CEO who actually operationalized UGMC, to start dental services, to start ENT, and to open the other sectors of the hospital bit by bit, because that is how it is done. I don't think any hospital in this country was open one day and all the departments were open. So this attempt at misinformation that is going on, to me, is laughable. When was it? When the Honorable Minister went on his tour, I don't know, I'm sure, Bright, you saw the first videos that he released. He passed the reception, passed the OPD that was fully furnished with hospital, with chairs. He passed the wards with beds. He did not post any of that, even though he had to go through all of those places to get to where he went to take that video, to post on social media, to deceive people, which to me is not the mandate. That is not the expectation of the Ghanaian people. We came into office and we completed several of the projects that we inherited from the previous NDC administration time. I will just go over briefly to give you a few. Right. The Eurojet group of hospitals, we completed 7 out of 9, including Ga East, Wa Regional, and Soko, Tepa, Chifupa, Sokonongo districts, and then the Ashanti Regional Hospital, Sewa, which again, I will maintain it is as complete as UGMC was when we took over. There was no brouhaha, there was no everyday press conference, everyday press release. We handled things properly as we expect the Honorable Minister to do. We went on to also complete the Fomena Hospital, the Kumewu Hospital, the Bekwai Hospital, all inherited projects. I don't think you heard anything about these things. We also went ahead to complete and operationalize the Adenta Opojo Polyclinic, the Botiano Odumanchege Polyclinics, the Wita, Somenya, Toulon, Sola, Upe, and Bamboy Polyclinics. We didn't hear any of these things from the then Minister of Health, Honorable Ajimai, at that time, did we? So what is all of this about?
Now, reference has been made to the fact that the former finance minister, Dr. Amin Adam, said that these hospitals commissioned were completed and equipped.
Yes.
Don't you believe that is where the confusion really is?
What do you mean by, I don't know what the confusion is about, honestly, Bright. Did you see the video that the Honorable Echo Vincent made when he went to the Agenda 111 hospital at Kokobing? Do you not see equipment there? Personally, I have been to all of these 3 facilities. So it pains me so much that the Honorable Minister, with so many pressing concerns, so many outbreaks in this country, doctors have cars stuck at the port. There are so many pressing issues. And what he chooses to major in is propaganda at this time is a little disappointing to me. The hospitals are complete. All you have to do is to do the necessary processes to operationalize them. Obviously, the lab and all those things are not set up. We had other plans of doing that. And I spoke to, during the campaign, I came to your network, Metro. I spoke to Ethel about our plans on how we were going to do this. Some of the services in the Agenda 11 hospitals by our plans were going to be under PPP arrangements. So if we were in power, we would have started this operationalization of these hospitals without all this noise. The hospitals are complete, it's on record, it's in the handing over notes that the president has. That's why, if you will remember, when he went to Parliament, he did not use the word incomplete. He said they are not operational, which is true, they are not operational, but they are complete. Because that was going to be on the record and he has the handing over notes, he said the right thing. But the Honorable Minister, instead of taking up the mantle and doing the work that we expect of him, has turned into, I don't even understand what is going on here. The hospitals are complete. Never did anybody in the MPP say the hospitals are operational. I've told you that even amongst the 21 district hospitals we built around the country, these are non-Agenda 111 hospitals. The one at Swami, recently I sent a few colleagues there to go and look, and everything is there, and the place is still not operational. Instead of you to sit up and make sure all these things are done like we did when we came into government. So now we can put to bed this assertion that MPP and NDC are the same. We are not the same. One, the MPP is very focused on getting things done. The other is more interested in spinning tales.
All right. I'm talking to Dr. Ekuya Omwako, who is a member of the MPP communications team, and talks about health, especially the Agenda 111, where it's an issue right now because the current administration and the health ministry led by Honorable Kwabena Mingta kind of says none of these are operational, and also they are not even equipped. And so we are taking reactions from...
I expect him to come and explain what he means by equipped, because as I already explained to you, right, when we took over UGMC, there was no equipment for dental. It took us over a year, even after the hospital was open, to operationalize those parts of the hospital. So if you want to look at it like that, of course you say that the mortuary is not equipped. But can you say that the theater is not equipped? I'm sure you've seen pictures of the theater. Can you say that the OPD
so if I understand you, you would have preferred for them to segment the parts of the hospitals that are not equipped. Is that right?
No, I do not agree with his blanket assertion that the hospitals in general are not complete and cannot be operationalized. Based on precedents, which I've just explained to you, in the case of UGMC when we came into government, there was no power plant. But did we have this conversation at that point? These hospitals have power. The oxygen lines are set. All you need to do is procure oxygen tanks from the many manufacturers we have in this country. And to get the place running, we don't even operationalize a hospital by launching all the services together on day one, as I have said. So maybe this is something that maybe the Honorable Minister is not aware of, which I'll be surprised because he was ranking member for a very long time. And as Minister, I expect that he would have familiarized himself with the systems that go into operationalizing a hospital. It's not something that you open all of it together so that you can pick and choose and bring a press statement to come and say that there are no dental equipment, there are no ENT equipment. It's not done like that. So it is almost a deliberate attempt to misinform and throw so much debt at a policy that, to me, it is one of the things that's going to change our health sector. People travel miles for things as simple as childbirth in the north and in other rural areas of the country. This is how this idea came about. I would admit to you today and on record that we might have been a little too ambitious with the timelines, knowing the problems that go into construction and whatnot. But with 400 million out of the total budget of $1.7 billion, with 400 million, we have 3 that are ready to be operationalized. All that is required is the will of the current finance minister. We have about 30 that are past 70% complete with contracts for the procurement of the medical equipment in those centers already procured. So what is this fuss about? Always selectively presenting parts of a picture to paint part of like to paint a certain narrative. I was very, very disappointed when I saw the videos that the Honorable Minister Akando chose to post after his tour. It was after we posted the videos of Honorable Vincent that he brought out the true pictures and videos of the place from when he was walking in. Because how do you walk past the entrance? You walk past the reception with chairs. You walk past the OPD with chairs and equipment. You walk past the wards with beds. Earlier, we had been told they were beds. When your correspondent went there, did he not see beds there? So what is this deliberate attempt at misinformation? The last thing I would say is that when it comes to issues of healthcare, can we just agree that certain sectors of this country are just too delicate to play dirty politics with? Healthcare is one of those places where there's always so much going on. There's always so much for you to do, but you shouldn't have enough time to spend on always trying to spin a narrative that is not wholly true.
I missed you at a point. At the point where you were, if I heard you correct, I heard you say they are playing dirty politics with health. Is that what you said?
Yes, I said there are sectors of this country that I hope as politicians we would decide to not over-politicize, and health is one of those areas.
Right.
Because they are very crucial things that need to happen right now. That's the attention of the Honorable Minister needs to be on, instead of this attempt at selectively presenting information to misinform people. And that's exactly what is going on.
All right, and Doctor,
let me also put it on record, right? There are all the other, about I think 3 of the other hospitals, non-agenda 111 that the MPP government built and commissioned somewhere in October, November. I remember Swami and Achiase. They are complete, also require operationalization. Nothing has been said about that. Nothing has been done. There's so much work to be done, but no, it's still propaganda like we're in campaign season.
Thank you so much for telling us here. Good afternoon.
Only require one thing from the Honorable Minister right now, because the shoe is now on his foot. So what we require from him is to put in the necessary work to operationalize the hospitals, just as we did with UGMC. In UGMC, we had to go and get an extra $50 million to be able to operationalize that. There was no noise and hula baloo. So what is all of this?
I was going to let you go, but a quick question. Tell me about the availability of the $1.3 billion that was stated to have been secured for the other projects.
That is, I do not have information on that, but the 400 that has been spent and all the equipment that was supposed to be procured with that are there, and all of this information is available in the handing over notes.
All right, thank you so much.
The other 1.4 billion that was required to complete the project was supposed to come from oil proceeds and a quota from the government of Ghana budget.
Right. Let me not take much of your time because you are told you have other engagements. And so Dr. Ekuya Mwakon is a member of the MPP communications team. I just spoke to her and she believes that the Honorable Minister, Minta Kwabena Kando, is not being truthful to Ghanaians about the hospitals that the MPP says it has been constructed. And even though the NDC claims or the minister claims these hospitals are not equipped, parts or sections of the hospital facility are equipped, leaving others not. And so it can't be generalized. We're still here. And she tells me she can't give me information about the 1.3 billion money that was stated by the former finance minister that had been secured for the other projects to take over. But she can only talk on the $400 million spent on the construction of some of the projects. We're still here on a Good Afternoon Ghana. We are back with more. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Who are you? Who are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bread called mattress anymore? Don't some slippers then follow me.
It is part of the mattress we did the front there.
Yeah?
Happiness mattress where they dead for me.
Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all. Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like ash foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ashfoam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
Mommy.
Michelle, fe. Yum.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Sankofa.
Yenchi. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
In an era where fire safety is paramount, Kabori Film Compound Technologies Limited stands out as a leader in the development of innovative fire dousing solutions. With a focus on aqueous film forming foam, the company provides a cutting-edge product that significantly enhances fire suppression capabilities across various sectors, including maritime, industrial and emergency response.
The oil and gas sector, along with chemical manufacturing facilities and fire services.
Kabori's advanced film technology offers a more efficient and environmentally responsible alternative.
Kabori is recognized for its superior extinguishing capabilities and prolonged resistance to reignition. Kabori's product is certified by the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Standards Authority, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Nigerian Standards Organization.
Kabori Film Compound Limited is situated in Nsawam within the eastern region of Ghana. For inquiries, reach out to them on 0245 885 288 or 0244 514 048. You may also contact them via email at info@kaborifilm.com. Kabori Film Compound Technologies Limited, providing film compound solutions to help institutions.
You the answer to my prayers. You're with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know. Tonight.
Attention all farmers, are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and IRICOP brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafua Jinkwa, and the IRICOP with cocoa blends, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and IRICOP organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by Cocoa Board, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Welcome back. We're still live here on Good Afternoon Ghana Hill Metro TV from our studios here at Rich in Accra, the Queer Boy Mass Studio. We are live and loud on Facebook and YouTube at Metro TV Ghana, on Instagram at YouTube at Metro TV GH. I'm Bright. Let's now talk about ECG. Now, the government of Ghana has been urged to consider partial privatization of ECG as a strategy to tackle the mounting debt burden in the energy sector, now which continues to strain the public purse. This recommendation emerged from the structural policy reform session at the National Economic Dialogue, presenting the group's recommendations. Former Ghana National Petroleum Corporation (GNPC) CEO Dr. KK Sapon emphasized that introducing private sector participation could enhance efficiency, improve revenue collection, and reduce financial losses in the power sector. So joining me now to speak about this is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, Duncan Amua, for conversation. What exactly is it? Is it a good news or not? Good afternoon to you, Duncan, and welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana.
If I can get your question again, I'll be happy.
I'm asking, what exactly are your reservations about this?
About which one, sir?
The privatization of the ECJ. Probably it's been stated that government should consider that.
Well, if you look at the fact that you have a power service provider whose systems over the years have clearly led us into the kind of crisis we find on our hands financially, then clearly something has got to give as to whether it should be full privatization or we should have some PPPs where public-private partnerships are entered into. We would opt for the latter because you wouldn't also want a situation where you privatize and then commercialize everything, and then the new persons or people or enterprises that come in will simply be all about just, profit, and that's all. You will need a semblance of state-private partnership so that the state interest cannot be pushed aside, but whatever efficiency that the private sector could also inject into that space, we could all be certain that with the private persons on board, some of the leakages, loopholes, poor contractual agreements that has often been entered into by ECG, the wastages, profligacy, all the bad financial things that you hear emanating from the company, at least there will be a check on all of that. And so we would go for the PPP model where the government, as it were, if you took Greater Accra, for instance, and you broke it into 4 zones, whatever number of transformers that pertains to a zone, you can audit to tell that this amount of power comes through these transformers. So therefore, in commercial terms, we should be able to raise 100 million here, 20 million here, 200 million here. If you're able to put those numbers together and get the private person's involvement, then you can then depend on them for some accountability or proper structures towards collecting these revenues and ensuring that these monies are accounted for properly so that we can get money to pay to the IPPs for whatever they generate, so we don't end up closing each year with huge debts piling up. Don't forget, we also have created a tax structure called the Energy Sector Levies Act, which clearly was there to, as it were, take care of debts within the energy space. Fortunately for you, petroleum currently is not generating any under recoveries, and so you don't owe for petroleum, but you still continue to incur unnecessary debt with the power sector, and that clearly should be a source of concern to every Ghanaian. We would wish that the government, though it has a standing committee for this, and then the National Economic Dialogue is also recommending some privatization due to the numbers that when we were there on Monday, Tuesday, the finance minister presented to us.
Yes.
It gives you the justification to think that indeed government should wash its hands off completely. But we would go for the latter that says that the private public partnership could be forged to get to greater efficiency for ECG at this point.
Like you mentioned, when you listen to figures given by Dr. Kislatu Forsin during Monday's opening of the economic dialogue conversation, it makes you want to say that government should take its hands off completely from ECG and give it fully to a private sector. Why shouldn't that be an option?
Well, what we know with some of these things, if you recall, we had the option of a PPP on Ghana Telecom. We decided to sell off, and then the private persons come in. Would they be able to even invest the way you would want them to invest, or they will go for the money returns or benefit, what you call the profit motive to business? If indeed you are just looking at the shorter route or the quickest route to say that, well, I am making losses and I can no longer keep my power sector running effective or efficiently, so let me sell off and then take whatever I can get and leave the private person now to handle everything. You will simply be putting your neck in a noose. It will tighten on you another day, because private capital primarily will chase profit and not a social good. Power anywhere in the world is something you cannot leave to profit. So there must be some state intervention every now and then. There must be some social good intervention every now and then. But you will still need the systems and the structures to work. And that is where we believe if you injected the private participation, you would simply be getting to a point where they would inject efficiency, government would inject the social good. The two will merge at some point to deliver, a social good that comes with some efficiency, that doesn't leave depth in its trail. But as it stands, it looks as though if they create losses, it is nobody's losses, nobody is surcharged. Decisions that are taken in boardrooms that lead to these losses are not reviewed. People are not named for buying street lights, like I indicated. When I go to the market, I'm paying 500 Ghana cedis for one street light. The government goes to sign contracts, and you are seeing 1,400, 1,500, 1,600. And you wonder, you that buys in larger sums that should benefit from economies of scale is rather paying more on the open market. It cannot be sustained. So you would need the private people in there. They would definitely go for the money. But so would you also need the government hand in there, so that some social capital can still exist with ECG, so that the Ghanaian doesn't get fleeced simply because we want to inject greater efficiency.
Right. Now, let's now take a look at regulations, monitoring, thorough follow-ups and all that to ensure that if the PPP, as you are suggesting, should be adopted, we don't find ourselves wanting as a nation at the end of the day.
I didn't get the question really. Asking, forgive me.
I mean,
yes.
If one take leads from PDS and all that happened, if we have to go by the PPP, the public-private partnerships, how do we ensure that we are not losing as a country?
Transparency is the way to go. You cannot create a system with lots of opacity, lots of vested interests, either family or lineal or religious or ethnic or political interest. If you don't deal with these matters in a transparent fashion that says that I opened a bid, I have zoned Accra into 4 zones, Kumasi into 4 zones, the metropolitan areas into 4 zones. And so if you have the capacity that can inject 100 million USD into building structures that delivers greater efficiency, bid and make the bidding process transparent, so that people who truly have the capacity to deliver are selected, and not just, well, this one is my party chairman, this one is my friend I went to school with, I know this person, I like his face, I don't like this person's face. If you do these things transparently, you would be able to get, people that have capacity or companies that have capacity, proven track record, put themselves forward to, offer the kind of, goods or services that you will need, in order that you don't get back to the PDS debacle that clearly had some conditions precedent that were, as it were, just overlooked simply because we decided, to gift some people, the power entity just for profit without any kind of investment as the statutes would have stipulated. So clearly, if you decided to move away from the abject corruption that often these kind of deals or these kinds of agreements are met with, you are likely to be able to get to a point where the qualified companies, the right people, could be, shortlisted to inject greater efficiency into the operations of our power sector. Anything other than this will simply be revising a PDS setup that clearly wouldn't be for the public good, but for the good of a few.
I've also heard some stakeholders say that, listen, don't just give it to just one private entity, but let's spread it across. We can even give it to 4 different private entities according to the zone or the locations. Is that also feasible?
Well, I would go for the multi-modular approach. You don't have just one company.
Right.
If that one company is grossly inefficient, you are back to same inefficiency. If you get a multimodal approach, that allows a lot more companies on board. If, let's say, I zone Accra into 4, there's Accra East, Accra West, Accra North, Accra South, whatever the zonal permutations we decide to ascribe to them. If Accra East is doing 50 megawatts, in a month or whatever, a period, and is able to collect 10 million Ghana cedis, and Accra West is doing, let's say, 100 megawatts,
right,
and is unable to collect even as much as Accra East does, then we can focus on the problems there, right? Do a clinical analysis of whatever the problems are so that we can get them also to, up the ante. But as it stands, if you just give everything to one player, he might be efficient in one place, very inefficient in other places. And you cannot be able to assess or judge from your KPIs whether we are getting value for money. So we will definitely go for the multi-modal approach, allow as many entities that have the capacity to handle the different zones that you would need efficiency from. And then you can even do a peer assessment, of their performance based on how much they are receiving and how much they are able to collect for whatever power they receive. If you do these, maybe in a few years to come, we could be profitable as a power sector. But if we go back to the opaque, agreements that we saw with, PDS, where we select our friends, we select our cronies, and say, go ahead and do this, even without proven track record nor capacity, would simply be worsening or crippling the power sector further.
Right. Thank you so much for your time with us here. Good afternoon, Ghana.
Thank you for having me.
Speaking to Duncan, I nearly said doctor, to Duncan Amwa, who is with COPEC as the executive secretary to that. And what exactly we're talking about is the privatization of the ECG as it has been recommended by a former CEO of GNPC, Dr. KK Sapon. What exactly could this be? And Duncan Amwa says, as a country, we will be best off dealing with the public-private partnership, the PPP, which is popularly known as, rather than giving the full body of ECG to a private sector. And even if we're able to go for a multi-outfit to manage the outfit, it will be good, rather than just have one person do it. How PDS was managing the entire country's electricity. We all know what actually happened to that as well. And so we've been here on Good Afternoon Ghana. We earlier started by going to Parliament, giving you live feed from the House, where the current Bank of Ghana Governor, Dr. Johnson Esiama, was in the House to brief the House what exactly the spending structure and the current books really look like at the Bank of Ghana. With questions coming in, even a bit of banter between the minority leader, Honorable Funyamaken, and also Honorable Adongo on some issues of conflict. Him being a member of parliament and also a member of the board at the Bank of Ghana, and why he's even allowed to ask questions. But he actually cleared that at the time where these things were done, he wasn't part of the board. And so now that they are looking back at the books of Bank of Ghana, it's only right that he's allowed to ask questions. And we also took you all the way to issues concerning Agenda 111, where we spoke to Dr. Kuya Amwako, who had to come and defend the previous government, issues concerning the incompletion of these projects, it not being operationalized, not being equipped, as it was earlier stated by the former finance minister, Dr. Adam Amin. According to her, the NDC should stop playing dirty politics with issues like health and not categorize every single thing as not being operationalized, because even though these hospitals are built, parts of them are equipped and not all. So they should be able to state the fact and not play politics with it. So we've been here on Good Afternoon Ghana, and thanks so much to Desi. Desmond Okrogo so came with a 30 minutes bulletin of news stories around the country. Don't forget, it's still Ghana Month here across the country, and here also here on Metro TV. I am Bright, Nana Kwesi Amanin. Until another time, have a good afternoon, and bye.
Metro TV presents a new dating reality show.
Tell me, what's the favorite part of my body, and can you describe it with a word?
Table of Love.
Do you have what it takes to make it to the table of love?
My first heartbreak. Let me tell you. So I went somewhere to sit, and I met goats chewing grass. I sat right in front of the goat, and I asked it, have you ever felt heartbroken before?
Touching, romancing, you take me there, I take you there.
If you expect me to be an angel in your life, you must first create heaven for me. Angels don't live in hell.
Many girls will say touching when you kiss me on the forehead, please. For me, when money touches my palm, I become so wet.
Damn!
Watch out for Cook Africa Season 2 coming to the Metro TV with Ahiniwa. This time around, we are coming with some surprises, prizes, and of course, it's Ghana Month. So watch out for some local delicacies on Cook Africa with your favorite Ahiniwa.
Celebrating hard